Okay, welcome back students. In this video, I will continue the discussions of questions on moving charges and magnetism. Already I have completed 20 questions. Now I will continue with the 21st question. Okay, so I will read the question first. 21st question. A moving coil galvanometer has 150 equal divisions. It has got 150 equal divisions. Its current sensitivity, it is 10 divisions per milliampere. For 1 milliampere, for 1 milliampere, 10 divisions are required. Means for full scale current, we require Ig equal to, see here, for 10 divisions we require 10 milliampere. For 10 divisions it requires 1 milliampere. 150 divisions requires 15 milliampere. Is that clear? For 10 divisions 1 milliampere. For 150 divisions it is 15 milliampere full scale deflection current in the galvanometer, moving coil galvanometer. And its voltage sensitivity is, it is 2 divisions per millimeter. Sorry, 2 divisions per millivolt. Voltage sensitivity is how much? 2 millivolt. Means for full scale deflection of the galvanometer, how much voltage required? 2 divisions per millivolt, means 150 divisions requires 75 volt. 75 millivolt. It is in millivolt. 2 divisions 1 millivolt. 150 divisions 75 millivolt. Now what is the resistance of the galvanometer? Resistance of the galvanometer is voltage by current according to Ohm's law, means 75 by 15, both are milliampere. Both are milliampere means they get cancelled. If they get cancelled, what is the answer? 15 5 5 ohm is the answer. Means R G, not G, R G, resistance of galvanometer. Now question will continue. In order that each division reads 1 volt, each division reads how much volt? 1 volt. The resistance in ohm needed to connect it in series with the galvanometer is. Now what is the formula for resistance of a galvanometer required? R equal to V by Ig minus Rg. It is also written as capital G or Rg. So what is V? How to get the value of V? It is given that 1 division reads 1 volt, means 150 division reads 150 volt, means full scale deflection voltage is 150 divided by Ig. Ig is how much? 15 milliampere, means 15 into 10 raised to minus 3, minus Rg is how much? Rg is already got, we got 5. If you do the calculation of this, you will get the answer 9995 ohm. So how much is the resistance connected in series with galvanometer? Second option, 9995 ohm. Got it? So I first calculated Ig, full scale deflection current. I calculated full scale deflection voltage, 75 millivoltage. On the basis of these two, Ig and Rg, I have calculated Rg. What is Rg? Resistance of the galvanometer. And using this Rg, resistance of the galvanometer, I have calculated R value connected in series. It is a high resistance connected in series. How I have calculated V? It is not given, not clearly given in the question. It is given that in order that each division reads 1 volt, means 150 division reads 150 volt. Okay, so correct option is second one. Okay, so next question. So the next question is, a proton, a deuteron, an alpha particle having same kinetic energy. All the three, proton, deuteron, alpha particle, all are having same kinetic energy, important, and are moving in circular trajectories with the constant magnetic field, in a constant magnetic field. So magnetic field is constant, so all are moving in same constant magnetic field. What is the radius? Rp, radius of proton, Rd, radius of deuteron, R alpha, radius of alpha particle. The radii of these trajectories, how they are related, is a question given. So I have calculated what is the relation for Rp is to R D, deuteron is to R alpha. The ratio of these three. On the basis we can discuss how they are related, Rp, Rd and R alpha. First we go for relation. So for any particle describing a circular path in a constant magnetic field, here I will go for the formula. The radius of a circular path is directly proportional to square root of mass and charge, inversely proportional to charge for having same kinetic energy. I will point out same kinetic energy and constant magnetic field. Remember this formula, radius of the circular path is proportional to square root of m divided by q. What is m? Mass of that particle. Q is the charge of that particle. If you take this, Rp is to Rd is to R alpha, denote. What is the proportionality relation? Root of m by q. Root of m. M means mass. Mass of proton is, you know that mass of proton is 1 root of mp divided by qp is to root of md divided by qd, and it is root of m alpha divided by q alpha. If you take the relations here, mass of proton and alpha particles are nearly same, means 1 root 1 divided by charge of proton is here. I will first write the masses. Mass of proton is root 1, mass of deuteron is double, and mass of alpha is also 1. Means mass of proton and alpha particle are 1:1. Sorry, it is 2 times. Also it is 2 times. It is also 1 time. And what about the charges? It is 1. It is divided by 1. It is divided by 2. See here, how you got this equation? Root 1:1. Mass of proton is root 1:1 because 1h1, 1h2, 2he4. Proton means 1h1, 1h1. Deuteron means 1h2. Alpha particle means 2he4. Here answer is, you can see here, it is 4. Sorry, it is 4. Here 1:1, 1:2, 2:4 means 1 by 1, 2 by 1, 4 by 2. 4 by 2 means root 1 by 1 means it is 1. Root 1 by 1 means it is 1. Root 2 by 1 means root 2. Root 4 by 2 means 2 by 2, and again it is 1. So totally we can go for that 1 is to root 2 is to 1. Rp is what? 1 is to root 2 is to 1. 1 is to root 2 is to 1. 1 is to root 2 is to 1 means what? 1, which are 1 and 1? Rp and R alpha are 1 and 1, means they are equal. Rp and R alpha are equal. And root 2 means, Rd is root 2 means it is greater than 1. Means we can say that R alpha and Rp are equal, and R alpha, Rp are equal, but Rp will be less than Rd. You can see the ratio. Rp is 1, Rd is root 2 means Rd is greater than Rp. means R alpha and RP are equal, 1 because 1 and 1 ratio, R alpha RP are equal, and it is less than it is less than RD, means option 1 will be correct. So here with the again once again I repeat, radius of any trajectory having same kinetic energy and magnetic field is proportional to root m by q. Now I have written alpha proton as 1h1, deuteron as 1h2, yeah, then this one what alpha particle as 2he4. So if you take the masses 1, 1, 1, 2 and 4, masses ratio are 1, 2 and 4, charges are 1, 1 and 2, means 1, root 1, root 2, root 4, charges 1, 1 and 2. With this calculation we got the ratio as 1 is to root 2 is to 1, means RP is 1, R alpha is also 1, means they are equal. RD is root 2 ratio, means RD is greater than RP and R alpha. Okay, so option is, first option is correct one. Okay, second one. Next question 23. Question number 23. What is the question here? Two particles A and B, masses MA and MB. There are two particles MA and MB. They are having same charge, having the same charge are moving in a plane. They are having same charge moving in a plane. A uniform magnetic field exists perpendicular to this plane. So you can diagram, you can see the magnetic field is perpendicular to the plane. The speeds of the particles are VA and VB. The speeds of the particles are VA and VB respectively. What are the trajectories? The trajectories are also shown here. B is having less radius, A is having more radius, means radius of the two particles are unequal. A radius is greater than B radius. I will write one confirmation is that radius of A is greater than radius of B. From this picture you can see A has got more radius, B has got less radius. Now radius formula is what is the formula for radius? It is R equal to mv by qb. Radius formula is mv by qb, and you can see qb are equal for both particles. Q same, B same, means Q and B are constants, so radius is directly proportional to mv. And here masses A and B, mass of it indicates what? If RA is greater than if RA is greater than RP, it indicates mv for A will be greater than mv for B. mv for A must be greater than mv for B, means option is second one. MA means mv for A must be greater than mv for B, because RA is greater than RB. If RA is greater than RB, mv should be greater than mv of B. I will write here MA VA greater than MB VB. Why it is greater than? Because radius is direct proportional to MV. If RA should be greater than RB, M into V for A, M into V for A must be greater than M into V for B. Okay, so correct option is second one. Go for next question. Two long conductors. There are two long conductors separated by the distance D. They are having currents I1 and I2 in the same direction. There are two long conductors. There are two long conductors having currents I1 and I2 separated by the distance D. They are having currents in the same direction. They are having currents in the same direction. If I1 is upward, I2 is also upward. Okay, now they exert force on each other. If the current in one is increased 2 times and the distance is made 3D, the new value of force between them. What is the formula for force between the two conductors? Force between any two conductors is mu naught by 2 pi I1 I2 divided by D. Mu naught by 2 pi I1 I2 divided by d. This is force per unit length. You can write multiply L also. Okay, now here F is proportional to currents I1 and I2 and inverse proportional to distance. So which are changed here? Current in one conductor is changed and distance between them is also changed. Length is not altered, means L is constant. One current is increased, I1 is increased. If current in one means you can take I1 or you can take I2 also, nothing will happen. Okay, here how much current is increased in one current in one, the current in one is, if I1 is increased 2 times, I will write I1 as 2 times, I2 nothing changed, means it remains 1, 2 into 1, and distance is made 3 times, means it is 3. So what then what happens here? 2 by 3 means the new force will be 2 by 3 times F. 2 by 3 times F means which option is correct? Fourth one. So I have written direct steps here, not to increase too much steps. Directly I have gone for the answer. So here force is directly proportional to product of the two currents and inverse proportional to distance. And L is constant, so I will not count L. In 1 the current is increased 2 times, so I1 is replaced as 2, I2 I replaced 1. Why? Nothing change, any change aglela, no change means I2 is 1. D is made 3 times, it is given in the question, so option will be 2 is to 3, 2 by 3 times means option is 4. Okay, so next question, the next question is here a millivoltmeter. So what is done? A millivoltmeter of range 10 milliampere. What is the range of the millimeter? 10 milliampere. It has a coil of resistance 1 ohm. Means what is the resistance of the millimeter? Rg. Here Rg equal to resistance of the coil is 1 ohm. To use it as voltmeter of range 10 volt, the resistance that must be connected in series. See here it is given as milliammeter. The question get confuses. Ammeter is converted into voltmeter. Normally we are saying that galvanometer is converted into voltmeter or galvanometer is converted into ammeter. So here in this question ammeter is converted into voltmeter, but the procedure remains same. Whether you can convert galvanometer into voltmeter or you can convert ammeter into voltmeter, the procedure remains same. Procedure, what is the procedure? Conversion of galvanometer to voltmeter requires a resistance connected in series. In the same way, ammeter to convert it into voltmeter, a resistance should be connected in series. The formula for the conversion of resistance, for conversion of galvanometer into voltmeter is V by Ig minus Rg. In the same way, conversion of ammeter to voltmeter, the formula remains same. Galvanometer to voltmeter, G to V, formula is this one, or A to G, the formula is same. Both are same. Here how much volt is range? Here gate is given. See here 10 volt range, 10 volt range. So I will write 10. Ig is given. For millivoltmeter, how much is the voltmeter range? 10 milliampere. 10 milliampere means 10 into 10 raised to minus 3 minus 1. So options here, total calculation 10 by 10 cancels, 10 raised to minus 3 goes up, it will become 1000 minus 1, it will be 999 ohm, which is connected in series. Option is 3. Correct option is 3. Okay. So the next question. A particle of mass m carrying a charge q. There is a particle of mass m carrying a charge q. It is accelerated by potential difference v. It enters perpendicularly in uniform magnetic field. B and exerts a circular arc of radius r. The specific charge is, here the question asked is about specific charge q by m. Specific charge means the ratio of charge to the mass. Okay. Now radius formula. What is the formula for radius of a circular path described? R equal to mv by qb. Okay. Now what is the velocity formula using this? It will be qb r divided by m. So this is a formula for velocity. We know that energy, kinetic energy is in terms of potential difference. I can write it as VQ. What is V here? Potential difference. This is potential difference, not velocity. Okay, here this is velocity. This is velocity. Now EK equal to VK. EK equal to VQ. Okay, EK, kinetic energy, means half mv square. It is VQ. Okay, now substitute half as it is, m as it v square. V square means q square. See here, v, substitute velocity, v square r square divided by m square. 1m get cancels. This one equal to this vq as it is. Okay, now q by m. What is the formula for q by m? So here, with this q by m can be calculated. Here 1q also get cancels here. Here this will cancel. So q by m can be written as q by m is equal to 2 goes up. So it is 2v b square r square comes to the denominator. B square r square comes to this. After solving this, you will get 2v by b square r square. So option 1 is correct. Okay, so we go for the next question. Okay, a conducting loop carrying a current I, it is placed in a uniform magnetic field pointing into the plane of paper. Pointing into the plane, into means inward, into the plane of paper as shown. The loop will have a tendency to contact, options here, contact, expand, moving towards positive charge, moving towards negative charge. So which one is correct? So if you take a loop, it is kept in a magnetic field, so the net force on this loop is 0. The net force on loop is 0. If the net force on the loop is 0, it will not move towards positive or not to move towards negative, means option 3 and 4 are wrong, because the net force due to this perpendicular magnetic field will be 0. Now if you take a current element, if you take a small portion of the current element, if you apply the Fleming's left hand rule, if you apply the Fleming's left hand rule, the current is like this, the magnetic field is inward, and force will be like this. The force will be like this. So if you count and apply the Fleming's left hand rule, I can show in the diagrammatically. If you take the forefinger as the magnetic field inward and the current T is middle finger, the force will be like this. The force will be like this. So if your force is like this, means the force acts on the loop everywhere outward. The force acts on the loop everywhere outward. If force acts on the loop everywhere outward, then you can say that the loop will expand. The loop will expand means here the current is, if you take the current, it is, if the current is in clockwise direction, see here, this is a clockwise direction current. For clockwise direction current, so I will show once again here, for clockwise direction current and the magnetic field is inward, the magnetic field is inward, B is inward, the force on the loop is expanding. The force on the loop is expanding. If the current is in anti-clockwise direction, the loop will contract. The loop will contract. If the current is anti-clockwise here, but a clockwise current means expand. So option is correct. 2 is correct. Okay, next question. Okay, next question. A conducting circular loop of radius r carries a current I. It is placed in uniform magnetic field B naught such that B naught is perpendicular to plane of wave. The net magnetic force acting on the loop is very simple and straightforward question. the net loss on the magnetic loop is 0. As I discussed, the circular coil will not move either towards x-axis or not towards y-axis. Only it will expand or contract. It will expand or contract depends on the direction of current and direction of magnetic fields. The direction of current and direction of magnetic fields decides expanding and contracting of the loop, but the loop never moves towards x-axis or y-axis or any axis. Means net force on the loop is 0. Option 3 is correct. It is related to the above question 27. Okay, next question. Next question is a 2 mega electron volt proton is moving perpendicular to uniform magnetic field. Say a charge particle 2 mega electron volt proton, charge particle proton 2 mega electron volt energy. It is moving in perpendicular to the magnetic field of how much Tesla? 2.5 Tesla. The force on the proton is okay. So how to calculate the force on the proton? Formula for the force exerted on proton is what? QVB sine theta. Theta is 90 degrees. So answer is QVB. QVB or QBB. Okay. So but the thing is that charge here 2 mega electron volt proton charge we know. We know the proton charge, but we don't know the velocity. So better to convert, better to get the value of velocity of the particle. How to get the velocity of a particle? Velocity of a particle is here. Velocity of a particle is, how to get the velocity of a particle? Kinetic energy Ek equal to half mv square. So v equal to 2 Ek divided by m. It will be root of 1 because v square. So kinetic energy is how much? Energy of proton 2 mega electron volt. Mass you know 1.6 into 10 27 kg. And you know the charge of proton. Charge of proton is 1.6 into 10 19 coulomb. Substitute here. It will be q b into root of 2 e k divided by m. Okay, substitute q. Q is what? 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19 into b 2.5 Tesla into root of 2 into ek 2 mega electron volts. Here it is 2 mega electron volt. 2 mega electron volt means 2 into mega 10 raised to plus 6. And what about the electron volt energy? It is electron volt can be converted into joules. 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19 whole divided by m. M is what? 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 27 kg. Okay. So after doing all these calculations, you will get option as 8 into 10 raised to minus 12. You will get the answer as 8 into 10 raised to minus 12 Newton. So do the calculations for these all. You will get 8 into 10 raised to minus 12 Newton. Okay. So we go for the next question. Next question is 30th question. A charge particle enters a magnetic field at an angle of 45 degrees. Here angle of projection is 45 degree with the magnetic field. The path of the particle is, so we know that 0 or 180 degree or 90 degree. Other than 0, 180 or 90 degree, the particle possesses helical path. The particle possesses helix path. Helix path means option A. We know that 0, other than 0, 180, 90, the path travels is helix. Already discussed in theory. So option straightforward 1, helix. With this, go for next question. Two particles x and y. Next question, two particles x and y having equal charges. They are having equal charges. After being accelerated through the same potential difference. They are accelerated in what? Same potential difference. Now they enter in a region of uniform magnetic field. They enter in a region of uniform magnetic field and describes circular paths of radii r1 and r2. The paths are r1 and r2. The ratio of mass of x to that of y. Okay, so here you are asked to calculate the ratio of mass of x to that of y. We know that radius of a circular path is mv by qb. Again, kinetic energy also written as half mv square. So you have to build up a relation for this in terms of kinetic energies. So here I will write R equal to, here R equal to, see here R equal to what? MV, see here again further, see here I will erase this one, see here, where is this one? Okay, see here, okay, see here I will convert this as MV equal to square root of 2ek. It will come if you multiply, so one more m will come here, 2 multiply m on both sides, it will be 2, it will be mek, m square v square, 2 will come here, 2 mek, m square v square, mv equal to what? Root of 2ek into m. If mv is root of, now use, see here radius formula, r equal to mv is what? Root of 2ek into m divided by qb. See here q is same because they are having same charge, the two particles are having same charge, they are accelerated in the same magnetic field, so q is same, b is same, only difference is what? Radius is directly proportional to root of 2ek. So again further ek is also written as q into v. So I will replace root of ek into m. Sorry, ek into m. Yeah. From this we can conclude that the two potential differences also same, means ek is also same, means radius is directly proportional to root m, because v is same, ek is same. Ek is same means constant, we can say that root r is proportional to root m. So if you take the ratios of masses, m1 by m2 equal to r1 square, see a root will convert it into square, so r1 square by r2 square. So option is r1 square by r2 square. So here one option it is deleted, it is r1 by r2 whole square. Correct option is 3. So next question, a charged particle is moving in a magnetic field of circular path of radius r. The charged particle is moving in a path uniform magnetic field of radius r equal to mv by qb. Radius, first I will write this radius. When the energy of the particle is 4 times, then the new radius. Here the radius energy, see here energy is made 4 times. I go back. What is the mv formula? It is 2m into ek. Mv can be written as 2m into 2m, root of 2m into ek. The energy, how it is related to radius is related to energy, root of ek. The energy is made how much times? 4 times, means it will become 2, means the radius becomes 2r. R becomes 2 times, R becomes, here again, okay, radius will become 2 times, means 2r. Option is 2. Okay, so next one, an electron is accelerated through a potential difference. Again electron is accelerated through a potential difference of how much here? So it is not given potential difference. It enters in a magnetic field. Transverse magnetic field means perpendicular magnetic field. Transverse nothing but perpendicular. and it experiences a force F. How much the force experienced? F. If the accelerating potential, see here, potential is increased to 2V, what the electron in the same magnetic field will experience a force. Means you have a relative relation between force and potential difference. What is the relation between force and potential difference? On that basis we can get the answer. So what is the formula for QF? QF equal to QVB. Q is E, VB. Again, how to write V? Here velocity is directly proportional to root of potential difference. You must remember this formula. Velocity is direct proportional to root V. Means F is directly proportional to small v. Small v is directly proportional to big V. Big V is what? Potential difference. Small v is what? Velocity. Means force is directly proportional to big V, means potential difference. So F1 by F2, it is equal to, again see, directly we can go, potential difference is made 2 times. It is made 2 times, it means root 2, means F becomes root 2. Root 2 times F. Option is 3. Okay, next question. Two wires are there. They carry currents as shown in the figure. The magnetic interactions, options here: push I2 away from I1, push I2 close to I1, turn I2 clockwise, turn I2 anti-clockwise. Here this magnetic field, it is here, I'll dot, sorry, it is dot means outward, cross means inward. So one is inward magnetic field and other is outward magnetic field. This outward magnetic field pushes this outward magnetic field pushes this in this direction, and this direction, and this one, the inward magnetic field pushes it in opposite direction like this. Means this I2 will rotate. How to get these all? Because using Fleming's left hand rule, magnetic field, current and thumb. So Fleming's left hand rule, I2 conductor moves like this. It moves like this, means it will move anti-clockwise. So turn I2 in anti-clockwise direction. So for this you must know the Fleming's left hand rule. See here, forefinger, middle finger and thumb. Forefinger gives magnetic field, middle finger will give the velocity, and the thumb gives what? The thumb gives force. So using this Fleming's left hand rule, you can calculate. This will rotate in anti-clockwise direction. Okay, next question. Wait for a while. Okay, next question. When two TZs of same radii are connected in series, a flow of current in them produces deflections of 60 degree, and the flow of current in them produces a deflection of 60 degree and 45 degree. The ratio of number of turns. Okay, the ratio of number of turns in them are. So I will go for reduction factor of a tangent kilometer. I will write a formula for reduction factor of a kilometer: 2RBH divided by mu naught n. The formula for reduction factor of a tangent kilometer: I equal to K tan theta, general formula. Okay, I see here currents in them are same because series. Current in them are same because the series connection current are same. I can write K1 tan theta 1 equal to K2 tan theta 2. K1 means 2R, radii are same, means I can write 2R. BH, horizontal component of magnetic field, is also constant, divided by mu naught is constant, number of turns N1 into tan theta 1, theta 1 is 60 degree. Similarly 2R BH, R and BH are same. Okay, mu naught is same, number of turns is different, N2 into tan theta 2, tan 45 degree, okay. After this you cancel this 2RBH, mu naught to tan 60. How much is tan 60? So I can write, so here write N1 by N2 can be written as, using this formula I can write N1 by N2, N1 by N2 can be written as tan 60 divided by tan 60 divided by tan 45. Tan 60 divided by tan 45. Tan 60 is root 3, tan 45 is 1. So option is root 3 is to 1. Root 3 option 2 is correct. Next question, 36th question. A solenoid is how much long? 1.5 meter long and its radius is 0.4 centimeter in diameter. It possesses 10 turns per centimeter. How much turns? 10 turns per centimeter. And current, how much current flows here? 5 ampere current flows. The magnetic field at the middle of the axis on the solenoid is, what is the formula for magnetic field in a solenoid? Mu naught Ni. Mu naught, as it is, Ni means N is N by L into I, number of turns per unit length. Small n is N by L, number of turns per unit length. Substitute here 4 pi, mu naught 4 pi into 10 raised to minus 7. Number of turns is how much? Number of turns in the solenoid, number of turns per unit length, it is given 0.4. So here number of turns is 10. Length is 1.5 meter long. Number of turns. A solenoid 1.5 meter long, 0.4 centimeter in diameter. 0.4 centimeter in diameter, possesses 10 turns per unit length. 10 turns per unit length means 10 into 10 raised to per centimeter means 10 raised to minus 2. 10 turns per centimeter means 10 divided by per centimeter. So we will erase this one. See, once wait. Yes. Okay. So here once again, I current is 5 ampere. See here, 10 number of turns per unit length means 10 by per centimeter means 10 raised to minus 2. Per centimeter is 10 by 1 centimeter. 10 by 1 centimeter, 10 by 10 raised to minus 2. Okay, 4 pi into 10 raised to minus 7 into, it will become 1000 into 5. After doing all these calculations, you'll get the answer as 2 pi into 10 raised to minus 2 pi into 10 raised to minus 3. 2 pi into 10 raised to minus 3 Tesla. Do the calculations. So option is 3. It is 2 pi into 10 raised to minus 3. Option 3 is correct. Okay, so see a simple mu naught Ni by mu naught into N by L into I. N by L means 10 by 10 raised to minus 2. Why 10 by 10 raised to minus 2? Because 10 turns per centimeter. 10 turns per centimeter, 10 by 1 centimeter. Okay, so we go for the next question. 37 question. A magnetic field at the center of a circular current carrying conductor of radius R is BC. The magnetic field at the center of circular current carrying conductor is radius R is BC. The magnetic field on its axis at a same distance R. So x equal to R. Same distance means distance becomes equal to R. The center from the center is BA. So you have to get the relation between BC and BA. So what is the formula for BC and BA? Okay, I'll write here BC by BA. distance formula and center formula. Distance formula mu naught Ni by 2r, mu naught Ni by 2r. Center formula is mu naught Ni r square divided by r square plus x square raised to 3 by 2. Substitute x equal to r. Substitute x equal to r. Mu naught n, mu naught n, mu naught n, mu naught n. I. All will cancel. 1 r will here. BC by BA equal to what remains here in the numerator. Calculate mu naught Ni. It will become 1 by 2r. What remains here? R square divided by here r square plus x square. X square is also r square raised to 3 by 2. So once again 1 by 2r whole divided by r square divided by, see, r square plus r square, 2r square. 2r square raised to 3 by 2. If you do the calculation, it will be 2 root 2 r cube. 2 root 2 r cube means 1 r cube or r square cancels. 2 root 2 goes and r also goes. This r also cancels. So totally r cube and r square, this all cancels. 1 2 and this 2 also get cancelled. So totally root 2 goes up. So BC, so 2 root 2, one more 2 is here, forgotten 2. So totally r square, it will be see here, do the calculations, it will be 2 root 2 BC by BA, it will be 2 root 2 is to 1. 2 root 2 is to 1 means option A. So you do the calculations properly. Here 1 by 2r, it will be mu naught n square. So I forgotten to write one more 2 here. One more 2 here, it will be 2 here. So totally it will be 4 root 2. So 2 goes up. So it will be 2 root 2 by 1. So after all, these are simple calculations. No need to explain once more. So simple calculations, you'll get the answer. Okay. So option is 1. Next question. Okay, next is at a certain place the angle of dip is 30 degree. At a certain place the angle of dip is 30 degree. Horizontal component of Earth's magnetic field is 0.5 Oersted. Yes, Oersted. It is not Tesla, it is Oersted. Now the Earth's magnetic field, total magnetic field is, so we know that the BH can be written as B cos theta. BH can be written as B cos theta, or here this is BH, this is B, this is BB. BH is horizontal component, BB is vertical component. B is net magnetic field of the Earth. BH equal to B cos theta. This is theta. This is angle of dip. So theta is given already. Using this I can calculate B. B equal to what? BH by cos theta. BH is given 0.5 cos theta, cos 60. Cos 60. What is cos 60? It is root 3 by 2. So 0.5 divided by root 3 by 2. After doing calculations, we will get 1 by root 3. So option is 3. 1 by root 3. So next question. Next question is, A and B are two diametrically opposite points of a uniform circular conductor of radius r. A current of I ampere enters the conductor at point A. Then the magnetic field at O, the center of the circle, is. See here, the current enters and it moves upward and it moves downward. It is shown in the diagram. For this upward current, the magnetic field at the center is inward. The magnetic field at the center is inward. For this downward current, the magnetic field will be outward. Means the two magnetic fields at the centers, one will be inward and other will be outward. So inward and outward magnetic fields, they are equal and opposite, so they cancel each other. So the net magnetic field will be 0. The magnetic field will be 0. Why the net magnetic field is 0? For upward the magnetic field is inward. For downward portion, the magnetic field would be outward. Since both circular paths are equal, so the net magnetic field is are at center are equal and opposite. So net magnetic field is 0. So next question. Two circular coils have number of turns in the ratio 1:3, radii in the ratio 3:1. If the same current flows through them, the magnetic fields at the centers will be. So it's very simple questions. Magnetic field at the center formula. What is the formula of magnetic field at a center? B equal to center formula. B equal to mu naught Ni by 2r. It is the formula for magnetic field. So here magnetic field is directly proportional to Ni and R. Ni and R. So B1 by B2. B1 by B2 equal to N1 by N2. Currents are same. Means I can neglect this I. So only I take n number of turns and radius ratio. Why I neglect n? Because currents are same. So B1 by B2 can be written as N1 by N2. Since R is inversely proportional, R2 comes upward and R1 comes downward. Okay, so with this, magnetic fields ratio can be calculated. N1 by N2. N1 by N2 is 1:3 and R2 by R1. But R1 by R2, see here, this is R1 by R2 ratio. But R2 by R1 ratio will become 1:3 only. 1:3 means so totally it will be 1:9. B1 by B2. So answer is fourth one. Okay. So with this, let me stop. I'll continue next class.